Hi everyone, what if you had everything, money, luxury and power, but still felt empty? This is the story of Leo Garcia, a billionaire's son who walked away from a life of privilege to chase his true passion, becoming a lawyer. Against his family's wishes, he left Spain, struggled to learn English, worked as a waiter, and fought his way into law school in Australia. Through relentless hard work, he turned his dream into reality. His journey proves that success isn't about wealth but about courage and determination. Watch till the end, because this story will inspire you to never give up on your dreams. Before moving forward, we request you to support us by subscribing to our channel and liking the video. Leave a nice comment and share it with your friends. Thank you. Many people are born into luxury, but what if that's not what they want? What if their dreams take them in a completely different direction? Today, we follow the journey of a young man who had everything: wealth, power, and comfort, but none of it made him happy. His family had a plan for his future, but he had a dream of his own. He wanted to break free, to forge his own path, even if it meant leaving everything behind. This is a story of courage, determination, and the pursuit of true happiness. And along the way, you'll also discover how he mastered English and built a new life from nothing. My name is Leo Garcia. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Madrid, Spain. If you looked at my life from the outside, you'd think I was the luckiest person in the world. My father is one of the richest businessmen in Spain. Our family owns luxury hotels, high-end fashion stores, and expensive restaurants. I grew up in a mansion where servants brought me everything before I even asked. I drove a brand new Ferrari, wore custom-made Italian suits, and owned watches worth more than most people's annual salary. But despite all of this, I hated my life. Since childhood, my parents had mapped out my future. Business school, then taking over the family empire. "Leo, you will never have to worry about money," my father would say. "You were born rich, and you will die rich." But I never wanted any of it. Wealth, status, luxury, they meant nothing to me. My real dream: I wanted to be a lawyer. Not for the money, not for the prestige, but to fight for justice and truth. My friends envied me. "Leo, you have everything," they'd say. But inside I felt empty. What's the point of having everything if you don't have happiness? One evening, as we sat in our grand dining hall under a chandelier worth millions, I gathered my courage. I put down my fork, looked at my father and said, "I don't want to run the business. I want to be a lawyer." Silence filled the room. My mother's spoon slipped from her hand. My father stared at me as if I had betrayed him. Then he laughed. "A lawyer? Why work so hard for a job that pays less than what we make in a day?" "Because it's my dream," I said. "I want to do something meaningful with my life." He slammed his hand on the table. "No, Leo. You will not waste your life. You will run our business, and that's final." That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Will I spend my whole life living someone else's dream? The next day, feeling lost, I wandered through the streets of Madrid. I found myself in a small cafe, lost in thought. An old man at the next table noticed me. "You look troubled, young man," he said. I sighed. "My parents want me to take over the family business, but I want to be a lawyer." He nodded. Then, he said something that changed my life forever. "In life, you cannot wait for someone to save you, not even your parents. They will always tell you what they believe is best, but they cannot live your dream for you. If you wait for permission, you will wait forever." His words hit me like a lightning bolt. That night, I wrote a letter to my parents. "I love you, but I cannot live a life that is not mine. I must chase my dream, even if it means leaving everything behind." I left the letter on my father's desk, packed a small suitcase, and walked away from the only life I had ever known. I booked a one-way flight to Sydney, Australia. Why? Because if I wanted to become a lawyer there, I needed to speak fluent English. I knew that to survive, I had to become the best version of myself. At the airport, handing my passport to the officer, I felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. For the first time in my life, I'm making a decision for myself. As the plane took off, I whispered, "Goodbye, old life. Hello, new destiny. The moment I landed in Sydney, I realized how unprepared I was. Signs were in English. People spoke quickly. At immigration, the officer asked, "Purpose of visit?" Froze. The words were in my head, but my tongue wouldn't move. Come for study. Law. The officer raised an eyebrow. You mean you are here to study law? I nodded quickly. Yes. Study law. I felt embarrassed. If I wanted to succeed, I needed to master English. And fast. I made a strict plan. Listening. I watched Australian news, podcasts, and movies daily. At first, I understood only 30%. After 2 months, I understood almost everything. Speaking. I forced myself to talk to strangers. At supermarkets, coffee shops, and parks. I joined an English conversation club. My rule. No Spanish, only English. Reading and writing. I read newspapers, law books, and novels. Every night, I wrote a journal entry in English. Shadowing. I repeated sentences from English podcasts, imitating native speakers. This improved my pronunciation and confidence. After 6 months, my English was fluent. But my journey was far from over. With my savings running low, I needed a job. I walked into a restaurant and asked the manager, "Do you need workers?" "Can you carry plates?" he asked. "Yes. Trial shift tomorrow." That's how I became a waiter. First it was tough. Customers spoke fast, and I struggled to understand orders. But over time the job became my best English teacher. After a year I was ready. I applied to Sydney Law School and got accepted. Law school was brutal. Legal terms were difficult. Professors spoke fast. Other students had stronger English skills. Felt lost. One night in the library, exhausted, I nearly gave up. Maybe I should go back to Spain. But I reminded myself. I didn't come this far to quit. I made a new plan. Study 10+ hours a day. I woke up at 5 a.m. and studied relentlessly. Master legal English. I practiced shadowing law lectures and debated with classmates. Learn from the best. I befriended top students and studied their techniques. Months passed. Then my professor announced, "Next month, you will argue a case in front of a judge." My hands shook. But when my turn came, I took a deep breath and presented my argument. When I finished, the judge nodded. "Very well argued, Mr. Garcia." Tears filled my eyes. I had done it. 4 years later, I graduated with my law degree. As I held my diploma, I thought of my journey. From a rich boy trapped in a life he didn't want to a lawyer who built his future from nothing. If you have a dream, don't wait for permission. Your family might not understand. People might doubt you. But in the end, it's your life. I left wealth and comfort behind to follow my dream. It wasn't easy. But I made it. And if I can do it, so can you. Your dream is waiting. Start now.